So welcome back, guys, to the Lockdown podcast. We've got another club focus this week, carrying on from the club focus from last week. Was obviously based around the Craigavon Lakers, and we had Rebecca Greenaway on. We've got our regulars with Danny Cooper, who is the DSNI Wheelchair Basketball Club Development Officer. We've got our two-time world champion, junior and senior GBNI player, James McSorley. And then we're joined this week by a guy called Ricky McVicker, who plays for the Causeway Giants Wheelchair Basketball Club. So I kind of, it's great to have you on, Ricky. And guys, it's good to see you again. I hope you are all sort of keeping well. Just to give you a bit of a background in terms of Ricky, the reason why we've got him on is, he's one of the kind of most senior players at the Causeway Giants Wheelchair Basketball Club. And he's got an interesting past and a few stories to tell. So yeah, it'll be fun, Ricky. So thanks for coming on, mate. But boys, before we kind of get cracking with the nitty gritty and getting into the what Ricky has to say about his club, what have you all been doing? How's things been getting on in the lockdown?
Yeah, I'll start this week, James, if that's all right. Last week we made a right mess of it, and it was just silent for a good 30 seconds. Okay, so my week, fairly quiet week. But I did listen to episode 1, which we obviously published last week, and listened back to episode 2, and didn't realise how Yorkshire I actually sounded. And teammates and people in the office have always said to me, what are you saying? What are you saying? I actually listened to the podcast and had to rewind myself, which is pretty bad. So, that's probably been the highlight of my week.
I was fully expecting to see you with a flat cap and a whippet, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
So, how's it been going with you, James?
Grand. I'm trying to think. The week kind of all blend into themselves, and trying to track a week from Wednesday to Wednesday's somehow a bit more difficult than Monday to Monday. It doesn't make sense. I don't have a weekend or a week anymore. It's all just. But yeah, no, grand. Just trying to fit a bit of structure into my life. I've figured out that's what works for me. Like, I'm trying to get up earlier and give myself things to do first thing in the morning. So I actually have to get out of my bed and give myself a certain amount of things, like of various different levels of obligations, from like not even a 9 to 5, but just roughly that. So I know when to cut myself off, and actually, so I can feel a bit better about my sitting about and watching TV or watching movies or whatever. But I've been doing plenty of stuff with the Team GB. We've got plenty of like online, like physio-led stretching sessions, and we've got circuits that we all video into, which is cool. It's like a nice group environment, and yeah, I'm just trying to keep busy. I think I'm going to start a course tomorrow. Oh, later on, I'm doing a podcasty type interview thing in Spanish, so I'll spend the rest of my day sweating about that. So that'll be fun. But yeah, there should be a whole heap of different athletes from all over these islands on there, which will be cool. I think there's some semi-well-known people kicking about, so that'll be good crack. But yeah, apart from that, just trying to keep active, trying to keep well, and trying to keep busy.
You can't just slide past the fact that there's been a certain wee change, in head shape and one thing or another, like
it feels so natural that I forgot all about it. No, yesterday, well, no, about a week and a half ago, we decided that my head needed some sort of landscape gardening, or I didn't know what I needed, but so we ordered some clippers online, and obviously everything's running a bit slower than normal, so they came yesterday, and my fiance gave me a haircut, and I think it looks pretty good. It's like nice and short on the sides and back, shorter than it was on the top, but longer than the sides, and it's got a bit of shape to it, and it feels nice and tidy, and it's not annoying me anymore. And sure, even if it went badly, who was going to see me? But no, I kind of like it.
Yeah, I wonder who's going to be next, to be honest with you. I think Danny has to be up for it. Danny has to be up for it, big man.
No way, growing out.
Brave the shave, big man. Embrace it. But cheers, James. What about yourself, Ricky?
Oh, I've been sitting about most days, but that's nothing to do with Corona. Usually stuck on my backside, but no, I've been on Facebook a lot. I hate social media. Absolutely hate it. I've been on Facebook. I'm contemplating the 5K run, but obviously I'll not be on my feet. If I meet it's a 20-minute run to beat, but there's no way I'm going to beat that. Doing a bit of reading, bit of YouTube videos and stuff. That's the height of it, yeah.
Happy days. I suppose, we're pretty much, we've lost a bit of structure actually, me and my family this week, because we're supposed to be off work, but obviously this isn't work. It's a bit of crack, to have good fun. And Ben's no longer like at school, if you know what I mean. So they're off on their Easter holidays. So we've lacked a wee bit of structure over the last couple of days. But the one thing that I did find interesting was, and this may be useful for some people that are listening or watching, is there's the Open University. At the moment, they're doing free online courses for some certain subjects. So I'd sort of swung on to a few of the players within the NI squad and James and a few other guys. So that might be of interest. It goes through health and well-being, right down to law, languages, you name it, it's on there. So there's so many different types of courses that you can go on. And it's not like lumbersome, if you know what I mean. You can do like a course that's like 9 hours or up to 24, you know what I mean? So it's not a big, massive commitment for time or anything. So I thought that was useful. It's something I'll definitely be looking into in regards to upping my sort of skill sets around other things that, you mightn't otherwise get a chance to do, really. So trying to embrace it and just stick to, as James made a good point there, trying to get a bit of structure, do a bit of exercise every day. And try and be healthy about the whole thing and have a bit of a laughter around the house rather than everybody sitting about doom and gloom, so but it's good to get that kind of weekly roundup, I suppose, as well. But so I suppose the next bit is our club intro. So at the very start I mentioned that we had Ricky from the Causeway Giants Wheelchair Basketball Club. So I'll just give everybody a wee bit of a rundown in terms of the club. You were established in June 2018. Your head coach is Geordie Wallace. Assistant coach is Ross McCook. You've got currently on your books, you have 15 players. Your captain is a guy that James would know as well, Adam Bamford, who would have played in the NI Juniors many moons ago. Your current competition that you're playing in is the Northern Ireland League, sponsored by Perennials. And the playing venue that you're currently training and playing out of is Coleraine University. Did I get that all right there, Ricky, or have I missed anything there?
Oh, that's pretty much the height of it.
I'm telling you, Danny's good. Danny is good. Unbelievable. Just the research man has been on it. He's been on the ball, 100%.
He doesn't miss.
But 100%. Big man's all over it. But I suppose it's not often we do this, but given your kind of sporting background, and we'll maybe go into that a wee bit later on in the podcast. We kind of thought that we'll give you a bit of an intro. So basically, for the listeners out there, just to give Ricky a bit of a wee bit of an intro, I would say that he played for quite a high level, junior level, hands up over the eyes, quite a high level of football within Northern Ireland. So he played for his hometown club, Ballymena United, at junior level, or youth level. Ballymoney, was it? Ballymoney. Yeah. Ballymoney, I got it wrong. Oh my God. If I wrote down and I got it wrong, how do you do that? And then he moved on to Coleraine. At youth, and then moved up into senior. But over that period, he also played in 2 Milk Cups, and he's played against teams like Man United and Atletico Madrid. So he's definitely bringing all the talent. And then on the side, besides playing wheelchair basketball for his club, he basically loves to do a bit of tattooing. Is that correct, Ricky? Yeah. Bit of a tattoo artist, yeah. Big man's all over it. Is there any end to your talents, man?
I asked the wife; she would tell you something different, but
I can't wiggle your toes.
I'm not great at dancing.
No, 100%. But that's quite a bit of a sporting history. Just a wee bit of a breakdown from where Ricky's coming from, and from where the club are coming from. So quite a new club. But Ricky, give us a wee idea of how you got involved in the sport of wheelchair basketball.
Well, obviously, you've sort of said that I started off in football. I grew up football through and through. I still watch it so much. but obviously I had an accident in May 2008. Broke my back and a pile of other injuries. And to be honest, it was Ryan Archibald that I play with. He tried to introduce me to badminton, or to table tennis, sorry. And I didn't go, no interest. And the next thing he came to me and says, look, we're starting wheelchair basketball up at the Joey Love Centre in Ballymoney.
Yeah.
It was John Fall and Steve McCartan and them guys that was starting it off. And I went up one day and just loved it. Loved the competitive side of it, from being or playing football before. I loved the team aspect of it too. That's where table tennis didn't really interest me as a single sport. It's whereas getting in amongst a team and all the high fives and fist pumps, all that again. And I was good crack, real good steam. But
yeah, and I suppose from a football background, that kind of lent itself to I can understand why you wanted to get that kind of team feel, if you know what I mean. And maybe made you feel a bit more comfortable in regards to jumping into wheelchair basketball and giving that a crack as well, because obviously you used to having highly skillful feet, and then moving into a sport where it's more handball skills, if you know what I mean. So I'm sure there was a lot of crossover though. Did you feel automatically kind of comfortable once you get into that team environment or in the sport?
It's again, it's not so much. I'm not being sort of big-headed, but I'm pretty good with my hands as well as my feet. Well, I used to be good with my feet, but it's more the movement, the passing, the getting in and out of positions and stuff. It's the crossover. Yeah. It was a lot to kind of take on at the time, but as you get more comfortable with the ball, a lot of the wee manoeuvres and stuff, they're very similar. Even defending and stuff, you're getting your way. Most of basketball for me, it's not about the guy on the ball. It's about it's about people positioning chairs and trying to pick and trying to, sometimes they're the main people on the court. But football's the same. When you have the ball, somebody's making a run around the back and just a wee simple through ball, and the crossover wasn't too bad.
Yeah. That's the only other question. Sorry, I kind of had was, how influential would you say? Like you mentioned that you had an accident, a pretty serious accident, and broke your back. And how much did wheelchair basketball play, like in the the tail end of your kind of rehab process, if you know what I mean, both kind of like physically and mentally?
To be honest, more mentally, it had a massive impact. Over the last 2 years, for a long time, I was a hermit. I sat in the house, rarely went out, getting in, mixing with people. Some of the people that I've met have been absolutely fantastic. That's the only difference, and the biggest difference in football and basketball. You see, when you're up against the opposing team, in football, I fell out with everybody. I was nobody's mate. In basketball, it's the complete opposite. You make a foul, and there's times you're shaking hands and or fist pumping and sorry about that. And some of the people are absolutely fantastic. And that Monday night session with you, Phil, some of them wee guys are 100% real top notch. But no, it's been physically, it's got me more fit. It's been so good for my upper body. Gets the blood pumping and all the rest, keeps you active. But no, from a mental point of view, it stops you from sitting about, feeling sorry for yourself, gets you out and about, mingling with different guys, chatting. I love a good Santa.
Yeah, good Santa.
No, it's been hard to beat. It really has over the last 2 years. It's really picked me up massively.
Happy days. Boys, have you any questions like for
Yeah, I think there's a few kind of angles I'm quite interested in, Rick, if you don't mind. I think the first one really is, I'll take it a couple of kind of stages back. What about that kind of transition for you? Obviously, youth player, and then you made your senior debut in senior football, professional football. Tell us a bit about that. What was that like? What was the situation?
Intimidating.
Yeah.
Going from, well, I went from junior football under 16s to straight into Korean reserves. Managed by a wee guy, Raymond Starrett. Played a couple of years in the reserves. Got the odd call up to the first team training. It was Kenny Shields was the manager at the time. Like I say, you're going up against grown men. So much more comfortable on the ball. There's times you felt like a child. You felt intimidated. You felt scared. And then playing reserve football, you come up against the odd top player that was coming back from an injury, and you saw the difference in ability. You saw the difference in the standard. Yeah. And then going to that first team debut, I just felt out of my depth. It was ridiculous, scary. But no, Kenny, he had that kind of way of nurturing youth, bringing them through. But no, I was 17, I think, at the time. And
here, and tell me this, James, does any of the stuff that Ricky was talking about there, obviously you've transitioned, as we were discussing in the first episode of the lockdown, and does any of that resonate with you?
100%. I've seen times where I've gone from one level up to the other, and it's like ball's the same size, basketball court's the same height, the hoop's still 10 feet, but it literally feels like the dimensions of the court. It feels like the ball's heavier. You're that nervous sometimes. Like I just like, and that thing that you talk about, that complete like difference in level of class, like that's such a real thing as well, where you go from, I think progression in sport is all like big fish in a small pond, move to a bigger pond, beat small fish in that pond, and then progress. And like every time you make that jump, you just see someone and you're like if you were like one of the standout guys at like a younger level or like a lower level, then you move up and you're like at the bottom of the pack or the back of the back of the pack. It's completely nuts when you just see someone who's at the top of that next level that you've just got to. Like it's like a different sport for them. Like that's what it feels like, honestly. It's like there's times you look at people and you're like, I have no idea how I'm going to stop you. Like I don't even know where to start. Like it's just like, yeah, no, that's completely it. And it's so intimidating at the time. Like I've gone back to like club sessions within Northern Ireland and spoken to some of the younger guys, and they feel how I felt when I did my first sort of senior stuff with Knights at 14, and I remember that was the scariest thing in the world at the time. And it's just it's acclimatization. Like you just eventually, don't you? Like you get on with it and you get stuck in, and eventually you kind of figure it out. You get more comfortable, and it's a mental thing as much as it is a physical thing. You get more comfortable with the skills that you have as you develop, but also the more times you're in whatever training session it is at whatever level, the more you're used to the guys around you, and the game feels like it slows down eventually. For basketball, anyway. I don't know what it's like in football, but it feels like everything's 100 miles an hour when you first get there, and by the end of it, no one's actually slowed down, but your brain's kind of sped up and caught up a bit. And I think that's the big thing. You start processing things at the higher level at a bit of a
accelerated pace. Improving in any sport, the better players you play with, you soon get to their level. For me, that's been how I progressed. Well, in football, the better standard that you're playing, the better standard of players you're playing with. It's the same, no disrespect, but when we started off at the Causeway Giants, we were kind of just going along a level pace. The next thing then, Geordie comes in and is a different level completely, and shows us the ropes. And then even going to your stations on a Monday night, Phil, and playing with week on, even we Nate and them guys, some of them a step above again, and for me it has improved my game.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you who, just out of interest, who was. You mentioned a couple of big clubs whenever you were speaking to me earlier, prior to the podcast, like Man United and Atletico Madrid. But who would have been like a current player that's Premier League level now, or playing at a really, really high standard? They were in the mix, for other clubs at that time that you seen play or played against them.
Well, I played with in the under-16 World Cup. I played with Chris Baird.
Yeah.
Played against Scott Parker. Again, there was Gary Haber, there was guys.
Yeah, he's a baller as well.
Yeah. Big Simsy. You put me on the spot. I can't think now.
Well, here, listen, you've rattled off a few there. To be fair to you,
started with Chris Baird. You've done all right.
Unbelievable.
Stephen Carson was another big one. I don't know if you remember him. He was a Korean a while. He went across to Rangers. But most of the guys that I played with at that level got apprenticeships and played with English clubs. Some of them just didn't make it, but a massive achievement at the time.
See, after playing with them guys, so this is an interest to me because James touched upon it and you've touched upon it in terms of like playing at a higher standard and then being able to process things much more quickly after you've played at that standard for a while, in terms of transitioning again, do you know what I mean? And that's what our Northern Ireland program's all based about, as James will know, and the other guys that are involved there. But how much more quickly were you able to process the information whenever or the flow of the game whenever you came back from playing against or with players like Chris Baird and against Scott Parker and people like that? Like, how did that feel when you came back? Was it similar to how James felt?
How do you mean? Sorry, Phil.
Like, were you able to process the information much more quickly? Were you quicker on the ball? Did you feel like you went to a different standard whenever you came back to your club level?
It's not. It's a case of you just know mentally your touch has to improve. Your position of the ball, your first touch away from the other player. Just be simple things like that. Or one touch football. Don't wait to take a touch and then lay it off. If the opportunity is there, just lay it simply into somebody's path. Again, but it's runs off the ball. You're watching players and they do wee crafty moves, just hanging out wide. Then the next thing they're evading the player, the defender who's picking them up, and they're drifting in behind. Just wee simple things. But, you just pick up wee bits and bobs that improve your game so drastically.
Yeah, and there's so much of a crossover there. I can see James nodding his head about, we were talking prior to this about like off the ball stuff and things that are happening, not just on the ball and being able to be capably like being able to handle the ball at the right times and perform a skill, but then everything else that comes along from that. Is that something that you would agree with, James?
100%. Like, I think one thing that I picked up on that you said there is like, you just notice like certain players will do something. They're like, you'll notice this guy makes this run or whatever. Like, I could probably go back and like pick things that I do on a basketball court now and be like, oh yeah, I saw this guy do it 8 years ago and it was cool and now I'm still doing it. Like, or this guy told me to maybe wait a second before I make this move, or like, just like there's all sorts of things. Like, I remember I must have been about 12 and Aubrey Bingham told me to have a look at the scoreboard every time the ball went out of play. Still do it. Like, stuff like that. Yeah. Like, there's wee things that you pick up or you see someone do, and a lot of it comes from like if you're playing against someone who absolutely makes you look stupid. Like if someone completely ruins you with a skill move, or they do something that you just like that just completely loses you, you're like, got it, no problem, right, not happening again, and then you kind of remember it from there. But it's just there's like going to the higher level and raising your ceiling, I think, is the best way to keep improving, because there's only so far you can go if you're the best player at every session you're at, for example, or if you're one of the older guys or one of the quicker guys or whatever. Like, you need I don't know if that's the same for everyone, but I need to be sort of out of my depth. Like, I was sort of one of the main guys in a Knights team before I moved to Sheffield, and was completely overwhelmed when I moved there, and then kind of worked through there and got better, and still trying to improve. But so much of it is, for me, it's about trying to push on. And I think those Monday sessions are the example for people in clubs back home. Like, you go to the Monday session to show up and be like, Jesus, this convoy's grand, or this, he's not grand, this convoy's unbelievable. But you know what I mean? Like, I think the Monday sessions are is that for people back home at the minute, where you go there and you get like a super high level of coaching, and you've got elite level players from all the clubs around there.
Like, that, James, I don't know about that.
I don't know. I've done all right, and it looks all right when I came back as well. So
that's because you were coaching the session, mate.
50-50.
I think another question there from me, Rick, if you don't mind. It's probably more about the kind of the club as a whole. And so obviously you were part of the journey from the start. And I think Phil touched on it, June 2018. So kind of the journey so far, whatever that's been, 2 years coming up very soon.
Yeah.
What's that been like for you as a player, but also as a fellow who's on the committee as well, the club?
It started off, getting involved was fantastic fun. So just that Wednesday night, just going for a bit of crack, shooting in the baskets. Then it started to get a wee bit more serious. The league and stuff gets set up, and next thing we had to establish our club. We set up our committee. I was stupid and took the treasurer role. And
the money man.
Oh man, applying
your account
and filling out application forms, and it just got more and more manic, but at the same time more and more enjoyable. You know, everybody. Well, we've got such a small committee at our club.
Yeah.
But you know, we all pull together. It's a small team as well, inside a team, but everybody tries to help each other. But no, it's just, it can be a nightmare.
Yeah.
But an enjoyable nightmare. You beat the ghost at the end of it usually. So.
And just on that then, and I know you probably don't want to give too much away, as Rebecca didn't last week. But is there anything kind of you're working towards as a group? Is there any kind of bigger aims?
NBA. As a group, what are we aiming towards?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say beating the Knights, because that's going to be everybody's answer. But no, I don't know, just improving as a team, as a club. It's just, I don't know, it feels great to be one of the founders of this wee league that's been set up, and to sort of try and build a good concrete foundation that, you know, so many years down the line, we can start a youth setup, we can start to improve, start to get bigger, and I just have such high hopes that it can be something that's talked about.
It's such a big area that we represent as well, you know. It's such a big area. We've spoke about this. I've spoken to you guys about this quite a bit, and you know, I think it's nice that there's a scope there to grow. I mean, you guys took a bit of a punt, I suppose, and changed venue, and then went and bought your own chairs as a club, which is obviously quite a big task. I don't know if you want to talk us through that side of it.
I don't know much about it, to be honest. Paul Daverty took it upon himself to go out and raise money. Went and got the wee chairs for us all. Because it's so much handier where everybody now is in charge of their own chair. You don't have to leave them at venues, go and pick them up, take them to games.
Yeah.
But the jump from the venue at the Jordan Lock to the university was so simple. The university is such more accessible, and it's a full-size court, whereas the Jordan Love, I think it's only a wee 3/4 court.
Yeah.
And it lets you adapt to get ready for game days. No, Paul as a chairman has put in a lot of graft, and like I say, went out and never asked anybody, just went out and raised all the money himself.
Unbelievable.
Bought us all these wee chairs, and it's good, man.
Yeah. I suppose one of the things, like me coming down and knowing Geordie, and James knows Geordie, would know him quite well from playing past days and Celtic Cups and stuff like that. But I suppose whenever I come down, you're one of the most competitive group of people I've ever been around, or just so competitive, want to win, or always at each other to try and improve all the time. Give us a wee flavour of like the feel of the club. You know what I mean? You mentioned that you love it, and you know sometimes it can be a struggle. But you know, what's the feel like at the club?
Like I say, it's all a good bunch of guys, and a couple of girls. But before training, before even match days, and that, it's all friendly banter. But again, it's like football, you know, where they're not only competitive against the opposition, they're competitive with each other, and the amount of banter back and forward, shouting at each other, falling out with each other, everybody just wants to win. We went through a stage. We went through a stage at the start with friendlies and that before the league started, Danny, where we were unbeaten. We had played a wee tournament. Can't remember where it was at. And we went through, never lost a game. And I think we took it to the league, and we thought to ourselves, oh, we're going to be on top here. The very first game we could beat by the Belfast Knights, everybody had fell out with each other. And it was an absolute nightmare. And it's good to see. Again, I like the competitive side of it, because that helps everybody improve as well.
Yeah. When
you're getting beat, you say to yourself, right, what do we have to do different? What do we have to do better? Whereas before we were going through that sort of stage of not being beat, and everybody thought, oh, we're on top and we don't have to change anything. Whereas when you're getting beat, there's certain things you have to change.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like when you guys were talking about developing as a player. The more struggle you go through, the better you're going to get, and the quicker that process is going to get in terms of developing as a team. James, have you ever been like you felt that way? You know, where you've been nice, and you mentioned moving from the Knights going to the Sheffield Steelers, but have you ever been part of a club that's kind of been like that as well? You've got beaten maybe against a team you're not expected to get beat by, or you've went on a bad run, but weirdly the training environment improves because of that.
I've been very lucky to be a part of a lot of very cool team environments with a lot of great people from top to bottom. So I haven't had too many experiences like that, but I've had one or two where we've had a bit of there's been like weird times where something's not gone so well, and we've needed to sit and properly break it down and have a chat about it as a group, and it completely flipped a switch. It was mad, like, because it was getting a bit tense and getting a bit weird, and this wasn't international or anything. Like, this was at a club level at one point, and it was like we all sort of got together at the end of a training session and just sat and chatted about it until we figured it out, and we came back the next day, put a good session in, played a game at the weekend, overperformed, didn't win the game because it was against a really good team, but overperformed, and I really, really think that was a turning point in that season, like in terms of the environment of the group. And I think I don't want to say you need that, because I wouldn't wish that negative situation upon anyone, but you need to be able to get through that if it comes up. Like, you need to be able to lose a game and actually talk about it, because the worst thing in the world you can do is like effing and blinding and then not talking to each other after it, because then you don't get to pick it apart because you absolutely have to. Because like we had loads of varying different opinions on what was happening at the time, and we kind of found a middle ground between all of them, and like everyone sort of understood each other, and we picked the sort of the stuff that we needed to out of it, and we left the sort of negative feelings about it behind and moved forward with the sort of objective information that we gleaned from what had happened and moved on. And I think that's what you need to do. Like you can't stay angry at your teammates. Like there's no point. It doesn't
Ricky's
help.
shaking his head there, like, no, you can't.
You
No,
can't.
I'm
Well,
only
yeah,
kidding.
you can, but you shouldn't. Like, no good for you.
Absolutely. I suppose it's a great insight, because that's my feeling on it. Whenever I see you guys at the Northern Ireland League, you are a highly competitive bunch of people who all care about winning, and who all do want to win and strive to win. And you do have your bickering on court sometimes and whatever, but from what I've seen from the majority of the clubs, the NI League has been kind of like paramount in terms of every club developing or wanting to develop their skill sets. So training environments are getting a lot more slicker. Coaches are put under a bit more pressure to actually deliver better training sessions, so that everybody's starting to develop their game, both from a skill perspective and then an game understanding perspective. So it's good to hear and get good insight into what way you guys are set up. But as well as that competitive side, it sounds like from what I can hear, like Paul Laverty and the impact that you guys have all had on from a committee level. Like, is there a good like structure or a good family feel to the club as well, Ricky?
Structure's a bit. It's not the strongest. Daniel helped me out with that one. The like I say, our committee's small. But as far as family feel, I'm not sure what you mean, but do you mean as a net like a family? We all back each other up. We all treat each other so well.
Yeah.
We're all really, really friendly, and we have said, it's not just a team sport; it's a family. We all have each other's back, and there is the odd argument. But you see, come the end of training, whoever has had a wee tiffle, they kiss and make up. But don't tell them I told you.
Well, there's going to be plenty of people listening anyway, so you've just let the cat out of the bag.
Well done. Sorry, guys.
I'm only kidding. But you've mentioned, I suppose Danny and James may have questions around this as well. But I suppose, like, from an NI League perspective, from the perennials have kind of came on board, and we've been able to lay on and organise a Northern Ireland Wheelchair Basketball League. How much of an impact has that had on, it could be you personally, but as a club, as a whole?
How do you mean the impact of, sorry, you broke up a wee bit there.
Sorry, the impact of the Northern Ireland League, so the Perennials League, how much of an impact has that had on you personally, like as a player, and then how much of an impact has that had on the club as a whole, to be part of a competitive league?
Impact on me personally, like I say, I am competitive, but at the same time, I've made so many friends from the other teams. I look forward to nothing more than a game day. Just to go and see all the guys, say hello. When you're not playing, you're sitting chatting. And it's always good for a catch-up. From a team point of view, it has helped us improve. I think we still have so many more steps to go. Excuse the pun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for a long time we were playing as a single team, whereas when you're coming up against, you learn more about defending, about more about the skills of how to position your chair and stuff, and it becomes so much more competitive when we entered the league. But like I say, as far as the family side of it goes, it has probably brought us closer together. And you're going out. We actually talked about, like, the walk-in music playing over the top and just coming out
Yeah.
with silly banter and the WhatsApp group chat. Some is real good crack, and no, it's the league for me. The game days is the best days out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one thing that really struck me and Phil, and obviously this was part of kind of the idea behind the creation of the league, development of the league. It was natural progression. It wasn't forced at all. It was just clubs were training for training's sake. And I think for you guys, yourself, the Northwest Wolves, the Lakers, and obviously the Knights. I know the Knights were involved in a couple of competitions already, but for you guys, it was just a natural progression. And I think we've seen from the outside looking in a definite growth in how you've practiced, how you've developed as a group, even to the point of how your kits look, how you know, all those things. And it's even the things, again, I kind of said this last week, that you don't think of. How does a group travel to a game together where you've got, you know, kind of everyone on one venue, all these little things. And you've obviously, season, we've got one game day left, which is currently on hold. But how you found that side of it, kind of the getting around the country, seeing other venues. We said about, obviously, you're at Coleraine University. What about that for your guys? Has that been a good step, a good kind of move?
Aye, it's been quite simple. Getting from venue to venue is not that bad, but we don't travel as teams or anything. Is that what you mean? It's all
how you've done it, yeah.
It's all individual transport. Just sadly because you have to take a chair as well, as you do the player. But no, like venues you get to they're all accessible. It's easy getting to places. It's wee buns, but no, I've had no issue whatsoever.
And James, you spoke about your league, obviously playing professionally over in Grand Canaria at the moment with Connie, but you know, do you find that as well? You know, from a league perspective, Ricky talked about like a family feel, or you get to know new players, or you know, different venues. How's that for you?
Yeah, like I was just thinking, like one of the big benefits for you guys now running the league is like, as Danny said, like you were training for training's sake. Now, like this sport that's like I've completely thrown I don't know how many years of my life into, and it's given me so much back. It's mostly like most of the things I'm grateful for are the games and the tournaments, and because you meet people there, and it's just what you've said. You sit on the side of the court and you talk to whoever from what team and this guy from that team, and like when it's like especially the big tournaments, our league works here a bit differently, that it's like a single fixture every Saturday. You go to this team there and you go to that team there. But even then, like we've had games where we've gone and we've played away at a team that we knew a couple of people from, and we'd like meet up with them later on. And like any of the games I've played away with some of the GB guys, I'll see what they're doing after the game. You know, like you get that sort of, you get the social element of it. But the big tournaments that everyone's there, like that's the best part about it, apart from the actual 40 minutes of basketball that you play every day. It's the fact that you've got a big group of people who are all kind of going in the same direction, all like the same thing. And it's such a cool opportunity to mix and meet new people, and the social element of it's unbelievable. But yeah, like I'm so glad that there's a league starting up in Northern Ireland now, because like everyone who gets involved in wheelchair basketball deserves that element of it too.
Totally.
Yeah, 100%. And I suppose, like from another perspective, like moving away from the league, Danny alluded to it earlier on a wee bit. But you know, what's the next? Where do you, in your opinion? So you've got a lot of background in football and different sporting experiences and stuff, and you talked about youth team football and things like that. So what do you think the next progression for the club naturally is from that side of things?
For me, at the sort of older end of the spectrum. I think
you're not old, Ricky. You're not old.
But it's one of those sports where I watch Aubrey, and you can do it into an older age. But at the moment, especially at the Causeway Giants, there is no youth coming up through. That's where I see the future. The future of the sport is with young people. And that has to be, especially for us, the next step, because we are one of the older teams in the league. You know, our youngest player must be, I don't know, close to 30, 28, 27, 28.
Yeah.
You know, whereas the Knights have wee guys coming up through 17, 18, even younger again.
Yeah.
They are a long-established club. But even the Wolves, wee Ross and those guys, I don't want to say how much younger they are than me, but it's ridiculous. We really need to put in a better base foundation, because in 5-6 years, if we lose off a couple of players, we're going to be down to the bare bones.
Yeah.
So we have to build that way.
I think that's a really interesting point, mate, because I think if you look across sport, and I mean all sport here, there's certain sports that lend themselves to certain kind of age groups and certain people playing at certain ages. You know, you look at traditional lawn bowls, for example, and things like that. But I think with our sport, obviously, because of the stage we're at now, I think the fact that you've got a project you can build on with the opportunity to add a youth section or whatever it is, I think that's actually exciting. Yes, it's a challenge, and I know you've kind of alluded to the challenges committees have, and we're all familiar with that, and we kind of all understand that side of it. But I think actually the fact that you've got, and I said it earlier, such a big area you represent, you know, obviously all that North Coast and all that kind of region, and the fact that you can add a section underneath that, and actually then also grow your adult side of it as well, is a really exciting thing, not just for your club, but for the sport as a whole in this country.
Yeah, I think the problem being with basketball, it's not a common sport here, especially in Northern Ireland, even the mainland UK. For me, I went to primary school. First thing I did was kick a football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, whereas we need to set in that base foundation and then let the young ones grow the sport even more.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
okay, we can build from now. But once you involve youth, and even down to 9-10-year-olds, and let them come up through, and it will just branch off, and it will be such a bigger sport in maybe 10-15 years time.
Yeah, we actually talked about this stuff last week with Rebecca Greenaway from the Lakers, and we were discussing the fact that, you know, the Disability Sport and I done a lot of work in conjunction with the Department of Communities, and then also Progressive in terms of setting up the Wheelie Active and the hubs across the 11 district councils. And that's something that Danny is heavily involved in, and something that I, you know, personally back as well, in terms of that development of youth and bringing people through with the right type of skill set, and getting that good base of skills so that they can go and try different sports, whether it be wheelchair basketball, wheelchair tennis, whatever it may be. Yeah. But I think that's a big game changer. Would that be fair to say, Danny?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think as well, the fact that one of those hubs are in each of the district councils, you know, means that some of our clubs, 5 clubs at the minute, potentially have 2 or 3 of those feeder clubs coming in. So if you know, obviously insert, like we said, Ricky, a junior section under that, that's a project, and you've got a real clear pathway there. And I think obviously we spoke about it, and James kind of spoke about it, how he was kind of involved in something similar when he was a kid as well. You know, it really creates that pathway where you can see progression from wheeled active, junior wheelchair basketball, senior basketball, you know, and whether you go on to Northern Ireland, GB, whatever it is. So, no, really exciting thing. I think another question from me, kind of spinning off, and this is a tough one, Ricky. So just take your time on this, all right? But I asked this to Rebecca, and I actually think I'm going to ask it to all the clubs just to get a feel for it. But your Causeway Giants hoodie you've got on there, your badge. Just want to ask you what that badge means to you personally, but also you as a club. I mean, obviously when we started this, there was no badge, there was no club colours. You know, there's no identity. What's that mean to you?
Had to look at it there, see what it says. To me personally,
yeah,
it means I look at it and just see, like we've talked about, our wee family, our wee team. As a club, I look at it and sort of branch out and see a community, see a a much wider sort of, I don't know. It takes it spreads out. The Causeway Coast. It's quite a big, like you say, a big vast area.
Yeah.
But the kind of, for me, the badge is kind of incorporating all that and bringing it into a smaller community. Just in the guy shooting the wheelchair basketball. And that's about the best I can do, Danny. Thanks for putting me on the spot.
That's okay.
I think he's completely rinsed it there. To be fair, I stopped in your track.
No, I think it's good because, like I said to you, for a lot of the clubs, probably bar the Knights. Obviously, first night I was there, I was present, and I remember these kind of initial feelings of what's it going to look like, what's it going to be, and now you sat there and you're navy blue and your badge, and I just think it's nice for me to see, but it's also nice for the club to see a progression in identity. And James, I'm sure you kind of feel the same with your own club. I know you've been involved with a few clubs, and you do get an attachment to your club and your badge and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like even clubs that I don't play for anymore, like I still want Sheffield to beat Oldham every time they play. Like I still want to see Knights do well. Like you don't, if you've had a good experience for a club for any real length of time, you kind of carry a bit of that with you for as far as you go, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I suppose from my point of view, we talked about bringing youth through, and then we've kind of come around full circle to looking at your club and what the badge means to you. But would you be looking at, like, if there was anybody out there that is has a physical disability, would you be recommending wheelchair basketball or try and get involved with your club as part of their kind of rehab process, or just even from that mental standpoint in terms of getting involved with something and being part of something that's maybe bigger than just yourself and your circumstance?
Oh, 100%. We recently had a guy come to training, and he said that he lost a leg, and he said he had been just hiding himself away from the outside world. And I think the first night he came to training, he said it was the first time he had left the wife and he had been mingling with other people. After the first session, I got a good chat with him, and he said it's the best thing I've done. From a mental point of view, it just gets you out and about. A lot of silly banter, a lot of good full chat, but from a mental or from a health point of view, gets you active, gets the blood pumping, gets you breathing, and by all means, if anybody, we have the odd able-bodied person playing, but anybody with a physical disability, just come and get involved, because if nothing else, you meet some nice people, especially me. But no, it's fantastic. It really is. And you see, picking up all the wee new parts, they can be difficult, but it's nothing compared to the atmosphere, the enjoyment you get out of it. It really is. It's 100%.
Yeah. It's been fascinating chatting to you, mate, about like your whole journey from playing football right through to get involved with your post accident, getting involved with a club, setting up a club, being part of a committee, developing that family feel. It's mad to just think that you can just sit and tell it like a story, you know what I mean? And then you can add other people into that as you go, as you've just alluded to. You've got new players. And please, if you are listening or or that might be interested, send them on to the club's Facebook page at Causeway Giants Wheelchair Basketball Club, or even just check out the Disability Sport NI Wheelchair Basketball page if you're looking for further information. But it has been class, kind of getting your insight into things. So thanks very much, mate, for sharing your kind of like your journey and what the club looked like and what the feel of the club is. But Danny's got a bit of a thing, so we're doing this thing every week, and it's kind of like a lightning round. So Danny throws a few questions at you, and you're going to expect to kind of spit them out, big man, spit them out. So Danny, do you want to take away the lightning round?
Yes, and we've established it's the best part of our Wednesdays.
Just when you think your ego couldn't get any bigger,
Well,
somebody told you it was the best part.
there's a twist to this week's quick fire round, Ricky.
Okay.
We've gone from 9 questions to 10 because I thought of an absolute belting question in the middle of the week.
Oh my.
So,
James, hold on, Danny. James, did he run this past us?
Nope. I'm happy enough.
He's over.
I'm all for it.
No. Shush, James. They haven't agreed, so the 10th question's out the window.
Okay, Ricky, they're going to come at you pretty fast. Okay, just give me kind of your first answer you can, and for the other two boys, try and spot which one's the newbie. Okay, Ricky, your best moment in sport.
It was either my Korean debut or running out against Manchester United in the Milk Cup.
Funniest team member.
Oh god, David Radcliffe is quite clean cut, but Jordy's got a sixth sense of humour the same as myself, so I hate give him a shout out.
Hardest trainer.
Honestly, I think I would have to say Stephen McCook.
Toughest opponent.
Again, there's a couple of shout outs. Aubrey Bingham's one of them, and we Con Nagel. I haven't played against Con. I played with him, but at Phil's session on a Monday night, are fantastic. We player, fantastic.
Your sporting hero.
That's the new one.
That's the new one.
David Beckham, 100%. Nasty boy, but the things as a footballer, fantastic. Fantastic, and some of the things he's done for the sport.
Yeah,
brilliant guy.
Cool fact about yourself.
Oh god,
this is a hard one.
I don't know. I try to play a bit of guitar. I watch Countdown every day. I don't know.
Did you not say you were going to sing us out? Is that not the end of the podcast?
Yeah. What song do you want there, Phil?
Are you taking requests, lad? Are you?
Hi, don't bother.
And in for the future for yourself within basketball?
Personally, I've contemplated coaching.
Okay.
For the simple fact that my abilities aren't anywhere near the standard, and I don't think I'll improve to the standard some of the guys running about. But I think I could have an input on helping players to obtain or attain the skills that they're looking to get to.
Like that. Best quote you live by?
Don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today.
Nice, like that. One live sports event you want to see?
I've already seen it.
Okay.
Man United against Liverpool.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I've seen it twice.
Hold on. Did United win?
United won. United won the first one. They lost last year.
God, I'm surrounded by idiots.
And
Don't say that about your wife and kid. Come on.
what excites you about wheelchair basketball in Northern Ireland?
Like I say, it excites me that we've built. I've said that before. We built that base, or I've helped to build that base.
Yeah,
and where it goes in the future, it's exciting. I'm just waiting to see the first slam dunk.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just waiting for that to get off the ground, so to speak.
Well, see, to be fair, Big Trevor Lucy has been banging the threes in lately, so I think that's where the game's going to go. It's just going to get further back the floor as it should be.
He went ridiculous against us that last game day. Then he came up against the Knights and missed every 3-pointer they went for. It was ridiculous.
Listen, he's working his way through it. Any other questions, Danny?
No, that's me. That was my brilliant 10. Do you know what the new one was? Ricky got it.
Yeah, Ricky called it.
Forgot about it already.
All right, you're not really that bothered. That's fair enough.
Sporting hero, Danny.
Sporting hero. There you go.
Who's yours out of interest? Because I didn't give you that one.
Yeah.
I don't really have one in sport, to be honest. Like, there's plenty of people that I look up to, but
No.
I've been asked who my hero was in general, and I've said my own dad a couple of times. They're like,
Yeah.
No, in terms of sport, that kind of I've had plenty of people I've looked up to, but yeah, as far as just picking one, couldn't really get.
Yeah. See in everyday life nowadays, I look up to everybody. Sorry, I couldn't
See,
help
the sixth sense of humor is definitely came out. It's definitely came out.
Sorry, guys.
But
We better
guys-
cut this off before it gets weirder.
Weirder. I love the weirder. But lads, listen, it's been a blast. Thanks very much for coming on again and giving us your time. And giving us a bit of insight. Ricky, thank you very much. James,
You're welcome.
always a pleasure to have you. Danny, I'll probably speak to you in another hour or two about something different. But it's been great, lads. Again, we're in our third episode, so people keep listening, keep tuning in. Episode 4 is going to continue on to our club feel as well. Our club focus is going to continue in the next week, so tune in to see who that's going to be with a different slant and a different story, as we have been. I told you we'd talk about some interesting stuff, and it's been really, really interesting up to now. And then also check out the DSNI social media feeds. There's some real good workouts, whether you're able-bodied or you have a physical disability or otherwise. Some real good workouts on there. They'll keep you active, keep your mind active, and as well as that, keep an eye out for the Lockdown podcast, obviously, and give us a few likes and shares and stuff. And remember that I suppose the big thing around this, the whole reason behind us putting this thing together, the Lockdown podcast together, was to get a bit of crack, but also have a serious note as well around the kind of public health situation that's going on with the COVID-19. So again, just remember to follow the public health agencies' advice around washing your hands to save lives, stay 2 meters apart whenever you're out and about to save lives, and then social distancing as well will save lives, as well we've been told. So keep up the good work over the kind of Easter period. And I suppose from everybody here, the last sort of thing is stay active, stay home, and stay safe, guys. And we'll see you all next week. Cheers. Peace.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
You guys.